Banks was once a teenage girl, and when she was a teenager, she wanted to be a model. She was genetically gifted in all the ways that were necessary, with the exception of being a black girl, which made her job a lot harder. By her 30s, she made the decision that most smart people who work in front of the camera do, which is that she was going to figure out a way to make her money behind the camera. And she felt strongly, as we're told, that young women who were entering the modeling industry were facing too many barriers to entry. And so she created a pipeline so that women who were not typically considered for this industry would be able to obtain work in modeling and perhaps even become as successful as she. She did this in the form of a reality show, which she called Top Model. Now, roughly, I'm going to say 20 some years later, we are finding that a lot of those women experienced horrifically damaging things while they were in pursuit of this Top Model award. By the time this documentary aired, many of these women are in their 30s and 40s, by the way, and they are now telling stories about the way that they were starved, the incredible demands on their bodies, which, by the way, is something we all knew as part of the modeling industry. They experienced issues around racial degradation, even at the hands of other people of color, something that we know is not exactly unusual in the modeling industry. Some of the women experienced sexual harassment and even sexual violence. And again, not exactly something we think of as being uncommon in the modeling industry. The problem wasn't that inclusion was missing. The problem was that Tyra was inviting these women into a broken system. But it's a system that worked for her, so she didn't recognize necessarily how broken it was. To her eyes, this system that made her so successful had one flaw, and that was that it kept too many people out. But once those people came in, they experienced all the ways in which that system was broken. And for some of them, it broke them. This is exactly how we treat most things in the professional world in the United States. Most inclusion efforts are designed and launched by people who have always had access, but they're also launched by people for whom these systems have always worked. So they don't always understand that inviting someone who has always been excluded is not the be-all and end-all, because once that person enters those doors, they have to be able to work within that system. They have to be able to be successful within that system. And if that system has been built specifically to thwart their efforts, if that system has been built specifically for people who are very much not them, you're inviting them into a nightmare. And it behooves you to make changes to that system prior to inviting people into it. And if you don't know how to do that, that's where consultants like me come in.